Welcome on in. As you see, we ready to get at it, man. Breaking news. A lot of people did not expect this. Myles Garrett signs the highest paid non-quarterback deal in the NFL history. We did not see this thing coming. We didn't. We just did it over UCSS. I didn't see this thing coming. I think a lot of people didn't see this coming. We're going to break this down. We're going to talk about what this deal means. We're going to talk about the cap ramifications. We're even going to talk about getting to it in terms of what does this mean for the draft? We talked about quarterbacks. We've talked about Abdul Carter. I think this resets a bunch of stuff when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett, if you just check it in, signed the highest paid non-quarterback deal, $40 million per year, includes $123.5 million in guarantees. We're going to talk about all that coming up here, right here on an impromptu breaking news episode of the Barbershop. Welcome on in. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all might be taking a little. They say, "Yo, G Bush on. Let me get my lights together. Let me get our lights together. Let me figure this out. Thing out, man. It's a little bright. It's a little bright. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna tell you what. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not heard, Myles Garrett. Let's put this up right away. We don't want to play no games. Myles Garrett signs the biggest non-quarterback contract in NFL history. This is from Adam Schefter. This news broke probably about a half hour ago. From trade to truce and beyond, the Browns and Myles Garrett have reached an agreement today on a record contract extension that averages $40 million per year, including $123.5 million in guaranteed money, and makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Sources tell ESPN. Garrett's agent Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports and Browns GM Andrew Berry finalized the deal today. Now, this is crazy because we went from yesterday, and if you watch the Barbershop, I got videos up talking about this right now. I got videos talking about, hey, Myles Garrett, we don't know if he's coming back. We got videos talking about that Stefanski and Andrew Berry, and especially when you talk about, Jimmy Haslem, he declines the meeting. And so he gets a decline of a meeting, and I'm just fascinated to see how this thing turned out. Because once Haslem declined that meeting, how does a contract get worked out? Does Myles Garrett go to then Andrew Berry and say, I was just playing. I didn't want no smoke. I didn't want no smoke with the situation. I was just over here. Let me go back and talk about the contract extension. And you must ask yourself, what did Joe Bitonio's opting in do? Right? Joe Bitonio came around and said he was going to be back in all in for next year, right? What did that do to the situation? Also, Max Crosby just signed his deal. Max Crosby a couple of days ago became the highest paid non-quarterback, and you look at that money, and you look at the type of bread that he got, and did Myles Garrett see something in that? $40 million, $23.5 million guaranteed. One of the things I got a question to get is, what does this do for the salary cap? In a way that gymnastics happens with the Cleveland Browns, I asked myself what it is that they did and how does this affect the salary cap? Because, they had $12.9 million the other day, and one of the reasons they couldn't move on Myles Garrett, which I think was a big part of it, we talked about it yesterday. Myles Garrett looked at as you look at the lay of the land, and of course you might want something. And then you start to see avenues and doors be shut. You start to see people signing dollars. You start to see free agency coming up this next week. And so you get to a point where you're Myles Garrett, you start to see the writing on the wall a little bit. And then you have to actually, when you're coming and you're trying to hold out, you got to come to the conclusion that, okay, let me see. Am I really willing to do this? Am I really willing to sit out games next year or during camp and lose game checks? Am I willing to continue to sit out and my PR is taking a hit? Am I willing to sit out and I want to have sack records? I want to make the Hall of Fame. I want to be all pro. All these things, and you're in the prime of your career. And then I sit back and wonder sometimes and say, do you really want to sit this one out? Because you see what happened to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson went over the contract dispute. It was over some other stuff, but when you sit out a year or you sit out games, sitting out rarely has helped. Le'Veon Bell, one of the best backs in the game, sat out. Pittsburgh Steelers over contract dispute. Guess what? That didn't work out so well. Le'Veon Bell came back, was a shadow of himself. Deshaun Watson sat out a whole year. Came back, shadow of himself. When you take a look and you look at situations like this, Myles Garrett looked at the lay of the land and said, now next week is what we're talking about in terms of next week, free agency starts. So if free agency is starting and I'm not getting that money, and this money is going out to other people, and then this money roster spots are being filled, and now you got the NFL draft. Now teams are filling up their boards. They're doing all kind of stuff. They're figuring it out. Like, okay, well, we have to allocate this money for this person. Now you're looking at it. It takes a lot of your contenders off the board. It takes a lot of those teams that were willing to give you that money off the board. Because look, the Cleveland Browns couldn't afford to trade you. We talked about it yesterday on the Barbershop. The Cleveland Browns had $12.9 million. If they wanted to trade, Myles Garrett, it was a $30-some-odd million cap hit. And the Browns just didn't have the bread. They was like, listen, we're not going to be able to get you that type of money until this offseason coming up in June, July, post-June. And the problem with that is when you do a post-June 1 trade, there's a lot of people who don't have cap space to even absorb that. And Myles Garrett not only wanted to get traded, he wanted a new deal. So think about the teams that got handcuffed. If you're a team that doesn't have the assets in terms of the capital, the trades that the Browns want and picks, you're off the books. If you don't have the cap space to absorb a deal like that after January 1st, you're off the books. If you're a team who has filled your roster spots through free agency and the draft at a defensive end position, you're off the books. And you need to have enough money to offer him a contract extension. A lot of teams, he looked around, he talked to his agent and was like, look, it's getting late early around here. And I think anytime you say it, and trust me, here's what's going to happen. And I'm waiting to see. I got 38 comments in here. I like everybody hit that like button here. I want everybody to hit the like button. We appreciate you. We're going to get to your comments. Super chats are available if you want to comment. We got some comments that I got and I took from Twitter we're going to get to too. But here's the thing that you got to get about this. When you look, and I know people are going to be upset and mad, and Myles, well, he put us through this. And first and foremost, come on, guys, this is a football game. You could be mad at people. We didn't go through anything. We just sat here. He said he wanted to be traded. He didn't get traded. Make no bones about this. The Cleveland Browns are a better team with Myles Garrett than on the team than off the team. That's number one. Kobe Bryant, at one point in time, wanted to be traded for the Lakers as well. Trade requests happen all the time. David Njoku wanted to trade. At the end of the day, if you can get it done and get him signed, sealed, to deliver, it's not my money anyway. Let's do it. I'm not in here to complain about no spilled milk, but Myles said he wanted to go to what happened. It was the money that happened. Yeah. Whatever. I don't care if it was the money. He got the money. He's on the squad. Give me my 14 to 16 sacks. Give me my 14 to 16 sacks. I'm not, listen, for as people calling me as emotional as people usually call me, I'm pretty pragmatic about this situation. Next thing I want to see immediately is you get on that phone and you talk to Nick Chubb. That's all I want to see. That's the smoke I want to hear. Give me Myles Garrett. Oh, Batonio, you want to come back? Cool. I don't have to waste no draft picks on no guards. Myles Garrett want to come back? Cool. Now, what I really want to talk to y'all about is this. You see me, I move things forward very quickly. Listen, I'm not going to go back and forth and be, oh my gosh, he wants to come back now. Yes, their team is better with him. But now what we need to be extrapolating while we get to these comments here, we need to be talking about what we're doing in that draft now. Right now, It's a whole new world, like Aladdin, a whole new world in this draft. Before, it's like, okay, Myles Garrett ain't there. Do we need to fill a role of a defensive end? Now, my people, where my people where my Abdul Carter people in here? I know Quincy going to Abdul Carter right now. Quincy Carrier is doing a draft. I guarantee it. He's doing a blog right now, and he's saying this changes everything in the draft. This changes everything. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's intriguing because all these mock drafts that we was talking about, those mock drafts had to do with why we thought Myles Garrett was not going to be in the mix. And are you going to draft the defensive end and it's going to move the needle? Now, the Browns are still going to draft the quarterback, but the question is, does this help them take a quarterback with Shedeur Sanders? Or does this say that we can open this up for something else? So that's the conversation I'm trying to have with my folks over here in the barbershop. Yeah, he came back. The money, I don't care nothing about the money. As long as you can sign your people and get that done, the Cleveland Browns can't afford to lose no more people. We can't afford to lose no more people. We trying to add to it. So now that you got Myles Garrett back in the mix, you signed him. You got Joe Bitonio. Now you got a new offensive line coach, right? Now we supposed to let Nick Chubb. Well, we're gonna let him test free agency. Under no circumstances, you better be right on that phone, Andrew Berry. Come on back. I need to see in the chat as well. Put that one in the chat if you want to see Nick Chubb back. One in the chat if you want to see Nick Chubb back. Two, if you think that they need to go get somebody else. One in the chat if you want Nick Chubb back. Two, let's move. Two, let's move. One in the chat if you want him back. We're going to come back and get that, too, as we always do. Before we get to your comments, because I want to hear about what you guys got going on. Because I'm excited. I don't know if some of you are out there. I want to hear from the unexcited people too. Is there anybody scorned out there? Anybody that's a little salty? That do you think this was all a ploy for money? Do you think this was something that Myles Garrett was always trying to do? We'll take your comments as well. But first, let's get to these ones. Let's see what Twitter's talking about. Denver Gooner says, Browns continue to set the market in all the wrong ways. They be the obvious choice for the league's worst run franchise if anyone cared about them. Now, listen, here's the great part about this. I always tell y'all, when you see little comments like this is the Browns is doomed. They doomed if they do, damned if they don't. So he's saying the Browns is a terrible franchise. Now, listen, they got terrible aspects all the time. We talk about them all the time over here. We're transparent. But in this situation, what are you talking about? You're probably one of them dudes that was like, the Browns are such a dumpster fire organization that Myles Garrett wanted to have to leave. What a terrible organization. Okay. Now, Myles Garrett is signed back. Now you want to say, oh, what a terrible organization that are once run. They got Myles Garrett to come back and say that they re-signed him. What a dumpster fire. These folks be doing this all the time. This is a Jedi mind trick. Denver Gooner, kick rocks. The Browns are a better team with Myles Garrett. Stop trying to gaslight us. And he's probably the same dude talking about, well, and these guys, these fools and idiots think that they're gonna get 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. They'll get a mid-round pick at best. Come on, bro. You one of those guys. I seen you coming from a mile away. Let's get to the number 2 quote. Oh, come on. And this guy used to be in the media too. This guy, what happened to you, bro? Like, these get off my lawn. Listen, this is a shame. So it was all about the money, nothing else. Congrats on staying with a horse blank franchise. Man, I talked about the media guys, man. What, you salty? Hey, listen, Brenda. You've been on forever. I used to listen to you growing up, man. Why are you so salty? Why are you so salty? You've been salty for a lot of years, man. I'm confused, man. We get mad at the Browns. We all want to see the Browns win. So it was all about money, nothing else. What is it all about? People crack me up with this money. If they gave you the same money, you wouldn't say nothing. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, it was about the money. Give me my sacks and give him his money. It is what it is. I don't care if they had to offer him more money. That's the business of it. But people want to be salty. It was all about the money. So I'm guessing that it grinded your gears. Come on, man. Stop. A dude called Parker. Oh my goodness. No way. Let's go. Welcome back, Flash Garrett. Hey, I'm with you. Come on back. I don't get in business disputes. It ain't my money. Jimmy Haslem's money. I care nothing about it. All I need to know is where can we get some more ball players from? Where can we get some ball players from? I'm with you, my man. I'm spot on with you. Common sense. At Mangini01. Ooh, there's another one. Let's see what this says. This guy says he wants to win a Super Bowl, but straps a team with $40 million a year. Here, let me get to this. Why do you, common people, if you're doing a job, don't you want more money every year? Tell me the last time you went to a corporation and said, you know what, I got an A+ evaluation, but I want the overall health of our business to be good. So I'm going to take $60,000 less so you can split that equally up with Sharon in accounting and Tom over in logistics. Shut up. That's not common sense. You got all that common sense and you don't know everybody want to get paid. It's a two things situation. Yes, we say that we want to be successful, but we all want to get paid. How can they have a solid team with that much money wrapped up in only two players? That's for Andrew Berry to figure out. They had all that money before and it was terrible. It's called drafting cheap players and them actually panning out to be good. I'll give you a hint on that. One of which probably will never play another down in Cleveland. Again, we're not talking about Deshaun Watson. He probably won't. I mean, who cares? We're talking about what quarterback we can get. Stop playing around. I have backed this team for 40 plus years. Never do I remember a future looking so bleak. Yeah, the bleak future was the one where we had Alex Wright starting at defensive end. You had a Hall of Fame player that you just re-signed and you sad. I'm confused. Do you want Myles Garrett or don't you? I'm trying to go get the other guy, Nick Chubb, to solidify that backfield. How can it be so bleak? You got Myles Garrett back. You got an opportunity to take a top 5 quarterback in this particular draft. You get your choice of whoever you want to take in terms of the first pick in the second round. What are you talking about? I don't get it. Maybe we're gonna get to these comments too. How many times do you see a guy say he want to be traded to a winning organization for it only to be about a contract dispute? Flash Garrett will finish his career on a winning team in his late 30s as a rotational pass rusher. Good for Myles. He loves trolling Browns fans too. How's this trolling? Once again, this always happens in disputes. I was already ready for it. See, the fans always, at all times, side with ownership. That's what they do. They never talk about greedy owners. They never talk about people who want more money. They never jumped up and down for how much money Kevin Stefanski got in an extension for losing games. But when it comes to players and their contracts, fans are blinded by when you say you want traded, they automatically, that means you want to be traded from us. You're breaking up with us. It's just not a business dispute. It's you are breaking up with us in general. You were saying things about the organization in which I love, and I don't like that, and I'm siding against that. When in reality, it's a business dispute. Yeah, they want to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid. And at the end of the day, cool. If they can pay him, they'll pay him. I'm talking about what's on that football field. Let's see if some people feel like I do. Let's get to your comments. Remember, I want to get to this too. I want to specifically talk about what this means for the draft. Because I think this could possibly go in two ways. It could be that they're going to stay at quarterback, or they could do some other stuff. We appreciate the super chats in here. Appreciate you. Let's see. Does this insinuate Myles approves AB's plan? This is fascinating because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't got no intel on this. People in Myles Garrett's camp have been quiet as they have not been. They've been all quiet, no intel during this situation when he officially came out and asked for the trade. So I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking about the current plan that he said when he asked for the original trade. But just chill. Let me give you this. I actually do kind of feel like is the plan revamped? Did they adjust the plan? Did they say, okay, we were going to go in a long-term route with a veteran quarterback, but now we're going to draft a quarterback high? Are they saying we're going to go best available player and we plan on getting a stopgap, a guy that, is going to be like Flacco? We're going to bring Flacco back and maybe they got a better rapport. I'm very interested in seeing how this thing goes because it shows a lot of different stuff. Like there's a lot of different things that could have went into this decision, but it very may well could have been a situation where he did like the new plan. I want to know who called who. This is boy, this is something else. Bradley Bruins, we appreciate you. We need to double down and stop wasting our talented players' time. Draft heavy on that D-line. Oh, get us 2 of these running backs in this draft while you at it. That's what I'm talking about. Ashton Genty is one of those guys. Amarion Hampton, one of those guys. Judkins, Travion Henderson, one of those guys. I like Scatterboo. I like the kid from Iowa. They got backs in this draft class. And look, I'm not in the business. You don't get better by trading a franchise player. Let's repeat with me, boys and girls. You do not get better. You don't by being out here trading Hall of Fame players. The Cleveland Browns retained one of them. We'll see if they can go back and get Nick Chubb. We got a little silent poll, and we'll get to that as well. One of you want Chubb to return? 2, if they got to move. They got to move them. All right, let's continue to go. I appreciate all you guys, man. The real Ben Maynard. Start mixing that Kool-Aid, G. Bush. 95 is back. Maybe Sanders paired up with Kevin. Let's go. We are so back. Kool-Aid Mafia in the building. Listen, I'm feeling excited about the move. You got to understand, like, when we sitting here and the trade requests come down, I don't know where y'all was at, but Myles Garrett want to get trade. They already talked about they ain't bringing back Nick Chubb. Listen, I don't want no parts of that 1-31 stuff no more. And that's where it was looking like it was going. This is something I'm slightly, I'm going to get to the rest of this comment. I'm slightly confused by. There was a lot of people on Twitter that was just like not liking the move. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would you not want a defensive player of the year caliber guy? Right? And now for the draft gurus, where my Abdul Carter people at? I know, listen, I was a quarterback guy, but I'm going to tell you what. Abdul Carter. Myles Garrett, Abdul Carter. What y'all feel about that? I'm still a quarterback guy, but I can be talked into it. Maybe. Let's keep it going. Poot Shoot Patriot. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. We appreciate it. I'm glad I could just wear I'm just glad I can wear a jersey for more than 2 years now. There it is. That there's cool things to be happy about. All you wanted to do is wear your gear. I feel it, man. At least you didn't have to get rid of that jersey, the Myles Garrett 95, man. SPT Lewis, we just want to thank you. We appreciate you for the super chat, man. We appreciate you guys over here. Let's get to some more of these comments. We want to get to a lot of them. Where we at? Man, we got a lot. Let's continue to go. Hey man, G, thanks for all. G, thanks for taking the time out of your day to talk about the stuff that matters. Actually, there was a crazy part about it. My brother, I was brushing my teeth, and I was downstairs working in my studio late last night trying to get stuff up and moved, and my brother was upstairs like, yo, Myles Garrett just signed for $40 million. I'm like, you know how it is nowadays. I'm thinking about, man, come on now. They're not signing for $40 million. This is a story. They just told Jimmy Haslem told him to get up out of his face. He ain't got no money. And they get the deal done today. I'm like, wow. I had to go on ESPN. I looked at it. It worked. So I just popped back on, man. Pop back on. Let's go. I'm watching you and McNuggets. You and McNuggets. It's a good day for Cleveland fans. I appreciate you so much out there, man. I knew you was going to open it up the shop today. Let's go, G, man. Mr. Swain. You know, hey, listen. I had to, listen, actually, that was my wife's. My wife was like, you need to go to the barbershop. It's specifically only barbershop. I said, you right, man. I got to get the people something. We can't play around, man. All we need now is Travis Hunter and Joe Milton. Hey, just Cam, I knew the whole time. hey. And he wanted to attend them Cavs playoff games. Hey, them Cavs playoff. That's the thing. Myles, you want out of here. And you telling me you part of the ownership group. And you gonna forfeit all them good playoff seats right next to the bench? You know, we done lost like 10 games, bro. We cooking. You might as well want to stay, bro. All I hear on Twitter is a bunch of other team fans coping with the fact that they can't get them. Big time W. I see a bunch of you suckers out there. You had your mouth, you were salivating. Thirsty. Yeah, we're going to get Myles. We're going to put him with so-and-so over here. Y'all already had play. Yeah, we're going to give him with the Greyhound package. We got a package with Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons. We're going to do it up. It's going to be crazy. Ain't nobody going to see us. No. Sorry. Myles Garrett signed back with the Browns. It looked like he just wanted some money, but it's okay because our owner has it, so we gave it to him. Oh, man. Patsy Emporium. With Garrett signing, do you believe the Browns focus on a win-now mode thinking what Jalen Carter did in the draft? He's won the most drafts. We go with Jalen Carter in the draft since he's the most win-now player. I actually don't, guys. I actually, for once, I don't know. You let me know because I've been a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward guy at 2. But that premise was already out and about before I knew Myles Garrett was even considering coming back. You see what I'm saying? Before he was even considering coming back, I was on the Myles Garrett. He's gone. And I'm like, well, we don't get that much of an impact from Abdul Carter. But now, this changes a bunch of stuff because now you're not picking from such a weakness, like a spot of weakness. You're picking from a spot of strength down because it's, say, for instance, you do, whoever it is, man, at quarterback. Say, for instance, you do like Jackson Dart. Say, for instance, you do like Abdul Carter, and you already have the number 33 overall pick, the first and the second round. You have 2 third-round picks. Think about the level that you guys have available to you now. So say, for instance, you want to just, you say, okay, I'm going to stay there and take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. Now, and I'm just painting a picture here. You tell me if I'm crazy. If they just went out like this, let's go out and do, all right, let me give me Flacco. Let me get Flaccavelli. You bring Flacco back. People will be excited about that. Super excited. Especially given Stefanski. You already got Joe Bitonio to come back. You got a new offensive line coach, right? You say, let's go out there, snatch Nick Chubb back up. Put him, if he's a second team back or whatever the case he wants to be. Watch how this works. So now you got Joe Flacco who can run your offense. He's your bridge quarterback. Then you got Chubb back there, but we're also planning on getting another running back in this draft. At number 2, you take they take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Then they jump back into the first round if they like a guy like Jackson Dart, right? If they like one of them. Or they can jump back into the first round. And if they like a guy later in say, the third round that you might want to get, you jump back into that first round. And you get a guy like Ashton Jeanty. You get a guy that may be one of the best running backs, And so you come out with looking like, oh, I got Ashton Jeanty, I got Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, I got a quarterback, and then you still may be able to get a Will Howard because you got 2 third-round picks. You might be able to get a Will Howard. You might be able to get a Jalen Milroe. You might be able to get one of those guys that are a little bit further back. The kid from Louisville, what is it? Scoff? You might be able to get him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways you can skin a cat right now because you can even say, I could take Abdul Carter, and if I like Jackson Dart a lot, I'll just use my second-round pick or one of my other picks to jump back into the first round and draft the quarterback. So now I got Jackson Dart, I got my generational pass rusher, and you still got some different things that you can maneuver to get you a running back. It's different. Let's take let's take a little impromptu Nick Chubb poll. Gotta sign Nick ones. Sign Chubb. You know what it is. The ones is in the building. What you mean 1 and 2? What you mean 1 and 2? I don't know that. Like I said, move. Oh, you saying get Nick Chubb and get you a running back in the draft. See, that's why I mess with y'all. That's why I mess with the barbershop. Y'all know, y'all on the same time. This is why I like doing content on the barbershop. Over here, it's cutthroat. It's cutthroat is playing spades at your auntie's house on New Year's Eve. Cutthroat. We're not playing no games. Everybody on it. Ones. 1 and 2. Everybody want the backs. We want the backs. Oh, come on, man. Javius, come on. You're the only guy that had to mess it up for us. No. Stop. Chubb to the ceiling. 1. Yup. We got a couple 2s in here. Tim, I think this means they're getting a veteran quarterback, not drafting the quarterback at 2. We'll take Hunter or Carter, drafting a developing quarterback in the lower rounds instead. That is something. Listen, I will listen. Somebody jump on Q's podcast, right? I know he's doing one. He got to. He probably in a dark room right now with a board. You go jump over to Q's, and I need to know what he's talking about. Q is advocate? He has to be advocating Abdul Carter. The Abdul Carter is gaining steam in the Browns community after the Browns just picked up Myles Garrett. I know he is. Somebody come back and tell me. We got to send a scout out there to see what we got going in. 640 people in the building. Hit that like button for me. We appreciate you. SPT Lewis says, only took the time to change my mind. Hey, I like that, man. Could this be a sign that they don't owe a Watson a dime in the future if Watson is still hurt? Just curious. No, I think this means, so the way I understand it, the way I interpret it, and I try to go back and watch a lot of those individuals who talk about the cap, is they're just converting what they owe him to upfront money, right? So basically, they're kicking the can down the road because they're hoping the salary cap raises. So the money that they have to continue to pay him is less and less in terms of the percentage of the cap that they have to use, right? So they just hoping like the cap goes up another 10 million or 20 million, whatever the case may be, next year. So now they still got to pay Deshaun Watson those $30-something million a year. The percentage of that $30 million is less of a chunk out of the salary cap that they have to go to our other players, if that makes a little bit of sense. right? Let's get to you going on. Grass and Bass, what's up, my man? I'm sorry. Myles played me, G. I thought he wasn't about the dough. Listen, we all about the dough. Let's keep it real. We're all about the bag. The bag is what we're talking about. The bag, for us, as long as I'm not paying him, this ain't my whatever he want to do. If the Browns can only keep somebody around because they're a sugar daddy, it is what it is. But I know what type of talent this man is on. Let's see. Mike says, I'm still out if they don't sign Chubb. They should actually be talking to Chubb right now. And Lawrence, you're correct. Broncos gifted us Jerry Jeudy. Hey, Broncos guy, kick rocks. You gave us Jerry Jeudy. Let me see. Paul Goodwin says, G. Bush is a loser too. No, I win at everything. I win at everything. And when I lose, I still win. You came way on here to call me a loser. And I showed your comment. That means I'm a winner. Because you matter too. Oh boy. If we don't draft the quarterback, sorry, we still be saying we don't have a quarterback. No. Listen, by the way, we're gonna get a quarterback. Quarterback has to be there. Quarterback we gotta keep that going. We're gonna get a quarterback. Granddad T-Dog09 says, come on, guys. I can't, I got to be able to see this Myles Garrett in the big magnet touchdown 2 times for the Browns. That's kind of confusing. I don't know what that said. Tim says, I believe the Browns told Myles they're bringing in a veteran quarterback, and Myles is excited about that. That is what changed. I'm going to be truthful. I don't know what changed. This is why it's going to be fascinating to watch the next couple of weeks or whatever the case may be, because this could signify that they told Myles Garrett that they was going to get a veteran. This could signify they told him, hey, we want to go with this young guy that Myles Garrett likes. Maybe Myles is head over here for Shedeur Sanders. Maybe they told him something. I don't know what happened. Or maybe it could have been $40 million. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the game. That has a lot to do with it. Missing point, G. All he had to do was say, I like an extension instead of all the extra. I ain't mad at Myles, but he talking out of both sides of his mouth. So, all right, here, D, let me give you this. Let me play devil's advocate. Have you worked at a place, right? Have you worked, and bear with me for this analogy. Have you ever worked at a job where you've been working there, and you feel you're overworked? You feel like you've taken on a lot of different other projects and responsibilities outside of what you are getting paid to do based on your job description. You go out of your way, you take extra shifts. You've learned, you've spearheaded a lot of different projects. When your review comes around, you getting paid, I don't know, just say you getting paid $80,000 for whatever you're supposed to be doing, but you're taking on all these other different projects. And when your review comes up, they say you're doing an awesome job. And you say, listen, that's great, man, but I'm burned out. I'm doing a lot I'm not getting compensated for. I'm away from my family all the time. I'm working late nights, man. I'm getting stressed out. My health is going downhill. And I'm doing this and I'm not getting compensated for it. And they say, you know what? You're right. You say, I want a raise. They're like, or I'm going to go somewhere else, right? And you're thinking about going to another job. And you're thinking about starting another career somewhere over where you get a fresh start. And at least they're going to have them job responsibilities on paper and you get paid for them. And then your company, even though you are a little upset that they put that on your plate, they come back and offer you tenfold of what's in the open market. So in the open job market, while you was looking, they might have offered you $30,000 more, putting you up to like 110. You're like, oh, that's cool. But what happens if your job that you comfortable in, you know the people, you know what you to expect, your children in the same school district, they come back and offer you, we'll give you $60,000 to do what we're doing right now. Now, to some people, They could have said, well, you were just using them other companies that you went to as job leverage because they were going to give you 30 more thousand. And you say, well, no, not actually. I wasn't there looking for money. I was looking for a better opportunity in work life, to be honest with you. The money was part of it. But when I looked at it and my other company came back and gave me the 60, I was like, yeah, for $60 more thousand doing the same thing I'm doing, I can work with that. I can do that. So is the money important? Yes, it is. Right? I'm not going to lie to you. Yo, they give me, I work for all kind of companies. Let another company come out here and give me another 60,000. I'll be over here talking Pittsburgh Pirates baseball. No, I won't. But that's where I'm getting at. Joseph Nagel says, gee, you think maybe Coach Prime had to talk with Myles? Deion is a pretty persuasive person. If he believes in his boys coming here, he may have to send him to open his mouth. Hey, listen, I usually come on here and tell you what you're supposed to expect. I'm with y'all. I'm just looking, trying to figure it out, just like y'all. So you let me know what you think, because I'm interested in seeing how this thing pivoted on a dime. I was laughing on UCS. I said, where's Jason Lloyd at? He's actually in Paris right now. Where's Jason Lloyd at when we need him? But Monday's going to be crazy because I want to see how this panned out. I want to see that. GSE 64. Thank you so much, man. Lady, individual, man, woman, whatever the case may be. We appreciate whoever is behind GSE 64. We appreciate you. Who needs offense? Draft D, win the ship. That Abdul Carter. That Abdul Carter. Quincy somewhere going off about it right now. I'm telling you right now. He's going crazy. James Cosby. We appreciate you, James. Always remember how much the Browns love off-season drama. Oh, they do. They do. I threw it up. I said, man, they be getting and look, they looked dead in the water. The Cavs was moving around, James. Cavs was stealing all the air out of the room. Cavs, the best team in the league. They smoking everybody. And the Lonely Browns got Hall of Famers walking out of the building. And they love the offseason drama. I will tell you this. For a team that don't win no games, we dominate the offseason. Dominate. G. Bush's bad neck. See, this is how you've made it. I got G. Bush's bad knee. I got G. Bush's bad back. I got G. Bush's bad neck. And I like this one because he got the Cavs championship ring up here. Hey, G, article just came out, and Myles had a change of heart and does want to go from Cleveland to Canton to pursue a championship in Ohio. Wanted to get the deal done before the agency done before free agency to help the team recruit. Somebody give me that article. See, my research staff is off this weekend. It's Sunday, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I got to find that article. I got to find that doggone article, the research staff. Hi, G. Do you think Myles should make a public statement and that would make people happy? Browns forever. You know what, Karen? I feel like people will slowly but surely get over it. Remember the time when remember we had what was his name? I'm blanking. Like David Njoku. Remember how mad people was about David Njoku and how he wanted to trade and everything and stuff like that. And he's one of the fan favorites because he puts the cape on for the Browns. He don't let nobody talk to it about the Browns crazy. I think Myles Garrett, you know, if he comes out and just says, look, man, you know, when you're going through negotiations and you're going through some stuff and losing takes a toll on you. It does. And sometimes there's moments where you lose so much that you lose focus of what's important to you. You lose energy. You lose motivation. And, you know, over this long haul process, I had an opportunity running by with my family, my friends, my agents. And you know, I realized that my heart was in Cleveland. I do want to, you know, stay here. Right. And my next thing that I want to do is I want Nick Chubb to get on the phone so we can go ahead and get our thing together. Right. So I think people in general, people are forgiving individuals, especially when you're very good, and especially when you've been here from the start. We drafted you. I think people, by the time the season comes around, they'll forget. There might be a small group of people that might hold it against them, but for the most part, Browns fans is a very close-knit group, and they'll probably welcome him back. Let's see. We continue to go. We got the ones. We continue to rock and roll. Next sign. I agree. Let's see. Let's get a couple more in here. Let's get a couple more. I want to make sure we do this. Let me see. Let me continue to go. Make sure I'm not missing nothing. Dickie says, could they theoretically just tell him to retire due to injury and give him $10 million for the rest of his life each year? Also, are we done paying all of those head coaches from the past? You know, the thing, Dickie, you know, the funny thing about this is there isn't necessarily specifically a rule that has to have coaches' salaries out there. So we don't know, for instance, we don't know how much Stefanski and Barry signed for in extensions. There's no salary cap for coaches. So who knows how much they're paying those guys, right? Generally speaking, they don't make more than the players. And, you know, if you're making $5-6 million a year, that's a lot. But in general, we don't know how much they make. There could be a lot of people with pay, but it really doesn't matter because they're not part of any salary cap or anything. Theoretically, they have to abide by the cap, even though he's playing or he's rehabbing. So that money for Deshaun Watson is just, you know, it's a whole separate thing. It prohibits you from doing some stuff, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a thing where it's going to prohibit the Browns from making moves. They've shown you they're pretty good with the cap. We got a couple more of these super chats. We appreciate everybody. G. Bush, who we taking at 33? Here's what I want to say, my man. At 33, it depends on who they take at number 2. If they go with a quarterback at number 2, my whole goal for the pick 33 is, my goal is not to be drafted at pick 33. Either way, I'm utilizing that pick in order to get back into round 1 for either the best available player that I want to, you know, move around and get. That would probably be Ashton Genty or a running back in that. If Ashton Genty goes past 17, I'm taking him off the board myself. I'm going to use that 33 pick, get up and go get him. If I've already got my quarterback, that's what I would do. If I don't got my quarterback and I say I got Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, I'm using 33 to get back into the first round and likely take Jackson Dart. I think Shedeur Sanders will be off the board at that point in time, but Jackson Dart will be moved up to a point where I want to get that 5th round on. I want to get the 5th year on him. I want to be able to control him for 5 years, and that's where you want to build. You want a low money guy that you have under control for 5 years. And so I'm going to jump back in for the second round, jump back in and get him at quarterback. So I don't plan on using the 33rd pick. I plan on that 33rd pick being the reason why I'm back in the first round, regardless of who I take at 2. Rob Cunningham, Cavs parade attendance this summer will be more fun while being a Cleveland pro athlete. It will. Myles Garrett, don't mess the bag up. Hey, and your stock gonna go up a little bit too. I know the return on investment is looking good for the Cavs. Rob, we appreciate you, man. And you stay healthy out there too. I've been watching your journey. Glad you feeling better out there, moving around. We appreciate you watching everything we do out there too, my brother. Soul Train, Cavs low-key saving Cleveland. They saved my whole sports career. Cavs had me, listen, the Browns last year was so bad, I didn't even want to do the shows. And I got like 70 Browns shows. And I got a lot of energy to come. I just get energy by talking to the people. I get by talking Browns, whether it's good or bad. Last year was really bad. It was back to 1-31 bad because it was just nasty vibes. I got a little bit of a bump when Jameis Winston came back in it, but it was hard to root for the Browns mostly throughout the season. It was just a bad look. But the Cavs, boy, they've been holding us down. And Jay Carter, we appreciate you so much for the $1.99 as well, man. So we got 688 people in here. We want to thank each and every one of you people for jumping on. Myles Garrett, if you just joined him, Myles Garrett is back in the fold. We may think that you may be a little salty at Myles, but listen, trust me, Myles Garrett, you're a better team with Myles Garrett on your squad than Myles Garrett Myles Garrett not on your team. We'll get over that fact, but here's the thing. Moving forward, coming up Monday, as we start to do these shows, make sure you check out the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Make sure the Barbershop is here. You guys know, guys that's tuning in now, every single Saturday, I used to do the Barbershop on the radio. I'm doing a Barbershop here 9 to 11 every single Saturday. Make sure you guys check that out when I go live. With that being said, you never know, G. Bush going to pull up even on a Sunday. When it's breaking news, I put the bat signal out and the Clippers come out. With that being said, have a great rest of your Sunday. And as always, go Browns.